Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. Have you ever wondered how many photos go into a scrapbook album? The first question should be, what size scrapbook album are you trying to fill with photos? If you have only 15 or 20 photos, that can go into one of our smaller paper albums. If you have 200 photos, you're probably thinking about a 12 by 12 album, and we have a spot for all those in between as well. So come along with me in my next episode of my What is Scrapbooking series, and let's answer this question, especially now that you've learned how to print photos using my Creative Memories website, just a couple of episodes before this one in this series. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly today because we're going to dive into this deeper and go into each size of the albums in a later video. But first, we're going to go ahead and just let me get you started with, if you know what album size you want, or you might not, but if you know how many photos you have, this may help you decide on which album to purchase. We have two versions of our 8x8 paper album. If you purchase one of our pre-printed albums, this one is a back to school theme. It comes with our school days cover on it. You just pull off this cover sheet of paper and you have your paper album already ready to add your photos. It does come as well with a sheet of tape chips. This is essentially a little piece of double-sided tape. It says peel here on it. You peel where it says peel and it comes up super easy to use. So if you purchase one of these that are already pre-done and ready for you to put photos into, you're going to look at about 15 to 20 photos in one of these albums, because you're going to put roughly 2 to 3 photos on each side of the page, depending on how much you trim and cut down your photos. Now, you can also do a custom album now that we've discussed that also in our last video. You can do an 8x8 custom album with different fonts, different ideas, and you can also put in different sized photos as well. So you can see where if you put 3 photos on a page, you may have one larger and a couple of smaller in one of these 8x8 paper albums. You can also take your 8x8, just take it and cut it on your 12-inch trimmer right where the staples are, and use our side loading pages to put them into a 8x8 album. With our 8x8 albums, we do have this school days album that comes with this really fun composition cover. And this one is part of our Fast to Fabulous series. It does come pre-printed, ready to go with all of your memories. This one has 15 pages that come in it because it's covering you from preschool. I mean, you have your cover page, but you also have, it goes from preschool all the way through your child's graduation from 12th grade of high school. So for something like this, 8x8, this one has 15 pages. Our standard pack that goes into our 12 by 12 albums, I have one that I put together for my children. I haven't had a chance to put the pictures in yet, using our back to school collection. This is just another variation on what you can do with an 8x8 album. And this one also has 15 pages. So if you purchase an 8x8 album, if you want the composition cover, you're going to need to go with one of the back to school albums. But for an 8x8 album, if you're going with the traditional album, you will get 12 pages per pack of pages to go into your album. So I had to buy 2 packs of pages in order to do my 15 pages for my back to school album. And if you figure you're going to fit roughly 2.5 photos per page, you're looking at being able to fit 120 photos in this album. And I say 2.5 because remember when I showed you the 3 pictures on the page in here? So if I want 2 full-size photos, it'll just fit 2 per page. So that's where I mean 2.5. You will be cutting down some of your photos. Next up is my happy album, and for this one, it's a slightly different size. Your pages for your happy album come in a 13 pack, and you're going to figure about 3 photos per page, so about 156 photos will fit in one of these albums for 2 packs, or about 82 for one. I do have my Happy Album series on my channel, which is where I showed this particular album that has photos from some of the projects I was working on the year I filmed the Happy Album series. And this, you can see I have put a few more photos on the pages. You can see this one I folded to add a little bit below it as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos on this page. Actually, I have 5. But in order to get 5 on, I did have to do some strategic cutting. And, you know, it's a little more interactive. And I don't have a page protector on here. I could have done peekaboo pockets otherwise. But I just wanted to show you all examples of what it looks like with photos on the pages. This is a little more spaced out. I have 2 here, and these I did cut down the actual photos as well. This is when we were in New Mexico. I did a chili pepper wreath, and we did a Zia while I was in New Mexico. It was a lot of fun. Here's my Zia here. Something else, I had made my own tabs for this album, and of course we have both the primary and the white memory tabs now that you can use with your happy albums, your 8x8 albums, or your 12x12 albums if you want to do a calendar style album from your happy album. We also have pocket pages now for the happy album as well. Just wanted to give you all a quick snapshot of a rough idea of things you can do with the different sized albums overall. And then, of course, we have our 12x12 albums, which are our mainstays. When you're starting out as a beginner scrapbooker, the 8x8 is definitely more approachable. When you get more experienced in scrapbooking, it's easier to create the pages, so you wind up making more. For the 12x12 albums, you do not want more than 3 packs of pages per album. When you purchase an album, it does not come with pages. So you will need to pick what type of pages you want to use in the album. And if you go to the beginning of my What is Scrapbooking series, the What is an Album video, I show you all the different types of pages, and that might help you make a decision for that. And if you do plain pages, those come 16 per pack. You don't want more than 2 packs. You're going to figure roughly 4 to 5 per side of your pictures. So, I mean, if I've shown you all this picture photo before. This is my 2022 album. I haven't put my pages into the pocket pages yet, but I will, and you can see where it's going to fit just fine in this album. I don't think I have more than 2 packs of pocket pages for this particular album. And if you do just 1 pack of the plain pages, you're going to get roughly 128 photos into one of these albums. Most people put 2 packs, around 256 photos. Same rule for your top loading pages. They come in a 12 pack. And so you're going to have roughly the same amount of photos. So for me, I probably have about 256 photos going into my album here. Now, for your multi-pocket page, you are going to get about 240 photos because those have the specific sleeves of where your photos go. Of course, if you use peekaboo pockets, you will get even more onto your pages. So some of it also depends on how much decoration you have on your pages as well. So you can see here, I have just 3 on each side instead of the 4. So some of it really just depends on how your pages are when you're done. As you can see with this page, I went ahead and went over the edges as well. So I did get the 4 full-size photos on the left side of my page and 3 on the right. Bear in mind that you need to figure out how you use Scrapbook in order to guesstimate how many photos. And you know what? If you take 2 albums to do your 2022 photos, for example, that's what mine are, or your 2024, since this is 2024, then figure you're going to do 2 albums. If you know how many photos you have, this is just to give you a quick and easy snapshot of how your photos can look on your pages for the different album sizes. I've made another video in my What is Scrapbooking series that showcases our fabulous Fast to Fab products.